yeah, if my co-host can just help me to add people who are coming into the room, that would be great. And as usual, these sessions, if everybody's okay with that, we record it just so that we can have some material to share with people who can't be here physically today or virtually today. But when we're having some of the discussions and the questions, like those parts, we can not record, so everybody is free to participate. So if that's okay with everybody, we are recording the two channels, English and French. We're experimenting, hopefully it'll work out well. So welcome everybody. Just give me 1 second to share my screen here. Okay, so welcome to our learning clinics as part of Let's Connect. For those of you who this is maybe the first time and you're part of this peer learning program, these learning clinics are a space where we can learn together and we can collaborate, we can ask all the questions we want to ask, that the learning doesn't stop in this session. So the idea is not that in this session you have to learn everything that was talked about or understand all the tools, and especially in this session where we're going to talk about a lot of different tools that can be used, but really to make you curious and want to discover more, want to learn more. For those of you who are absolutely new to these tools, like a lot of the participants today, I think about 50%, so half of you said this is completely new. I am also a newcomer to these tools, so I'm going to be asking a lot of questions too. But for those of you who already have some experience, then you can this is a space where we have great people sharing some of their knowledge around these tools. You can ask questions and we can discover like what needs to be developed after this session. So this is the start of our learning journey together. So thank you everybody for being here today. If Florencia and Dora can just help me with the participants that are joining, that would be great. So as I said, and I always say, we have a learning culture in Let's Connect. This is part of a community and foundation initiative. And we're here to learn, we're here to share our skills, but we're here to have a good time. So anybody who's come with tension, I always say, shake it off. We're here to laugh. It's Friday. We want to have a great session. Everybody should participate, ask questions, think about their questions, share them. Every question is important. We all have something to learn from each other, no matter the experience, if we're new to the movement or new to the tools. And so this is the environment we want to create. If you have problems with connectivity or you can't collaborate in the chat because you're on your phones or it's difficult, don't worry, just sit back, relax, listen, use this material afterwards so you can continue to learn, okay? So this is our session for today. We're going to look at some tools that are commonly used by Wikimedia communities to measure quantitative data. What is that long word? It's about the numbers. It's about measurements that we can make to be able to, I've gone forward, to be able to understand some of the results of our work. And for those of you who came to our last learning clinic on qualitative data, this is a really important complement to qualitative data, because that is going to tell us a bit more about how things have happened, why they're happening, what are the experiences that some people are feeling, and what can we learn from our work. So we looked at some of the tools to do qualitative data, and now we're going to look at some of the tools to understand the numbers. How many people arrived to an event? How many people edited? How many people uploaded photos? How is that being used? So the two types of measurements are going to tell us a story of the impact of our work, the numbers and also the understanding why, how, and who it's impacting. So this is how it connects to what we also learned in the last learning clinic. For those of you who didn't participate, all the material is on our Let's Connect meta page, and we will be able to share that with you. Okay, so I'm going to just start with a warm-up here for our session. And I want you to take a piece of paper and pen and think, you can draw or write a word, what you feel when you think of the words tools, statistics, numbers. So take just 2 minutes. I'm terrible at drawing, so just scribble. If you haven't got a pen or paper, then you can do it in your mind. Don't worry, but just have a minute to think about that. This includes our sharers, the people we've invited to share their experiences, and all the team members as well. Okay, so now I just want to, I'll start by sharing. I think you can most of you can see me on this screen. But this is what, can you see my image here?
Yes, we can.
This is what happens to me when I think about tools sometimes. And when I try to understand all the wiki tools, this screaming face, it makes me sometimes nervous and confused. Florencia, do you want to share your image?
Yes, sure. I wrote, because I'm really not good writing, drawing, so I put dizziness. I feel like a bit dizzy with numbers.
Okay, I'm just going to randomly pick on a few more people. Kemi, do you want to share your image?
Not image, but a text.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, the text is confused. You know, sometimes on the wiki platform, you can get really, really confused and they're like lost.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share? You can just open your mic.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my own is terrible. Like I feel terrible with numbers, statistics and numbers.
Thank you for sharing. I think Ruby wanted to share.
Yeah, I wanted to share, but I don't know if my camera is working.
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
You can see me. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
We just need to, it looks like a happy face.
Yes. I'm excited.
Great. If anybody else wants to share their images, you can open up your videos. Claudia says she feels in a maze. And you can share your thoughts on the chat as well. And this is just to make us all feel comfortable that no matter what the experience, sometimes when we talk about measuring numbers and using tools, we can feel that excitement, but also dizziness. So the idea is that today we can start learning about this in a way that will make us curious and actually like the numbers. And I just wanted to bring, as I said, the different experiences we have here today. And part of the reason we ask you some questions when you're registering is so we can really understand some of your interests and some of the skills that you have already practiced in your experience. And here we can see we have people with quite a bit of experience, a lot of people that this is new to them, and some that are starting to experiment those tools as organizers. And it's interesting to see that 72% have been using the Program and Events Dashboard, which we'll be talking about today, and less so some of the other tools, but there's a lot of interest in learning about those different tools and some of the understanding of what is used for what and how they complement each other. And so this is how we try to focus our session today, which is that we can have an overview. If we can have an overview of those tools. So we have a great speaker Krishna, who's gonna help us do that kind of broad understanding. And we'll have some space for questions. Then we're gonna look at one case study, and our invite, Olashola, is gonna talk about the hashtag tool and some experiences they've had from the campaigns that they run. But the main part of our session is going to be for you to ask questions, for you to bring ideas of data that you've wanted to collect, but maybe you haven't. So we can run through some of those questions and how they apply to your work. Okay. So I'm going to hand it over now to Krishna. He is going to introduce himself because he has so many hats that I couldn't do so. But he is a very important member of the community. Wiki loves monuments. He's also today an analyst as part of the foundation. So over to you, Krishna.
Hi. Thanks, Jessica. That was, well, we have a lot to cover in 20 minutes. So, hi everyone. I'm Krishna. I'm based in southern part of India. And yeah, I've been a volunteer for a few years now. I organize Wiki loves monuments in my volunteer time and some technical areas. And I also work with Foundation as a data analyst. So we'll be covering 4 tools roughly, depending on the time we have: the Program and Events Dashboard and the Event Metrics, which is close to the Program and Events Dashboard, but has some. We'll talk about those in detail, and also cover the hashtags tool and Glamorous, which is tools to analyze the impact of campaigns on Wikimedia Commons. I was just wondering if Oshula, if he's speaking about the hashtags tools already, do I need to cover it again?
I think you can, yeah, you can focus more on the other ones, Krishna. That's great.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry, can you please repeat your question? Are you referring to me? Sorry.
Oh yes, I was just saying because I was also planning to covering the hashtag tools, but in your case study, if you're already covering that, then I mean you can do that. I can skip that because we already have other tools.
Yes, I'm going to talk about the hashtag tool.
All right, yeah, that's good then. All right, let me share the screen. Hey, is my screen visible?
We can.
Okay, all right. So the Program and Events Dashboard, I'll say is there here, so he's the mastermind behind it, but it's one of the most commonly used tools to organize programs, be it education programs or simple editathons or campaigns. So it has a wide variety of applications, and it can track a range of metrics. So I'll quickly show some of the programs, and we can try to create a test program. So let's see. So when I'm trying to think what would be this way. All right. So whenever you have a campaign, you have few things or even though you have few things. One is the who are participants of the program and when is the event happening and what is the wiki that you're trying to cause it, like have the impact on. So these three things are crucial to creating any program, and you can, with the help of the dashboard, you can track different metrics related to that impact. So be it edits or number of articles and number of images that are uploaded.
Krishna, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There was just a couple of people on the chat that said if you can speak a little bit more slowly, so that they can
Right, yeah.
that. Thanks. And also for the translation.
Okay, sure. Okay, so the Program and Events Dashboard has a wide variety of applications, from editathons to campaigns and education programs, which it is widely used for. So whenever you have an event, so the three basic things. One is the participants of the program, and then the start and end dates, and on which wiki or wikis is the program being conducted on. So when you have these three things, the dashboard will help you track different metrics related to the respective event, be it edits and the number of pages or items created, and the number of commons uploads and the references added. And you can also go into more detailed metrics about individual editors and what are the items that are being edited and all those things. So we'll try to create a test program and see how this works. So there are two levels of, like two categories, right? So one is a campaign and the other is you have a program or event in a campaign. So One Live, One Rare for Wikilove's Monuments, these are campaigns, and there are sub-events running, like country level or regional events that are happening as part of this campaign. So you can, for example, if you have 10 events as part of a campaign, then you also want aggregated metrics of the overall campaign. So that will be quite helpful to the dashboard. So for now, we'll create a single program and create independent program, create new program. So there's some pre-built categories, pre-built like predefined programs, which will help you with the setup, but you can choose that according to your needs. So we'll go with basic program title. A few more. Okay, I have added a few programs, so a few wikis. Okay. So there are a few. So whenever event starts and ends, so the event start dates can be different from the activity tracking start and end times. I'll give you an example. So for example, Wikilove's Monuments, even though we start the process of Wikilove's Monuments in, let's say, August or July, but the campaign itself takes place in September and October. Some countries do it like different months. So we don't want the metrics to be tracked for all the months, like where the campaign is on, but where the event is on, but we do want the activity to be limited to a certain period of time. So in such cases, you can have different times for the event to show that how long the event has been happening, and a different set of start and end times to track which period you want the metrics for. So for now, like if there is no, like if the event and activity tracking times are not separate, you can just use the activity tracking time. All right, so we have the program now, where you can see all the details here, the institution, like whatever you would be adding. So whenever you use this, I think by default there's a passcode, and you can maybe remove this. Yeah. So if you want to give a passcode to your participants, it's only they, like whoever has the passcode can join the program. Then you can set a passcode. If not, then you can make it an open program. So once we have the basic program ready, you can then add editors. I'm not very sure if I have any edits on this because there's my corresponding right. Can we get a few usernames on the chat maybe to test, like a start and see how the metrics roll out? Thank you. So if you have a list of usernames like on a spreadsheet or something, you can add them like all at once. And yeah, so all the users are added. Okay, so now we have the users and like all the participants, and so like this is a test program. Like that's a very basic overview of how to create a program. The dashboard has a lot many features than this. Like you can like once participants edit articles, you can assign them if you're running an education program. Like for example, if you want a specific student to work on a specific article, you can assign it to that respective user and evaluate. Like there is also some options to evaluate that. But again, like we don't have a lot of time to go through all the features. So once you add an event, it generally takes, so here it says in approximately 3 hours, the metrics are updated. So we can look at an example, maybe like so art and feminism. So this is a campaign which has multiple programs in it. So as I initially mentioned, so you can have like a broad umbrella campaign and have multiple events in that. So the art and feminism 2018 is it's a global campaign, and then there are multiple events or sub-programs in that. So once the editors are added and you set the start and end dates and the respective wikis to track, this stats gets updated every 3 hours. I think that was one. That's mentioned. Yeah. So every 3 hours. So for example, if you see here articles, and there are some assessment tools and which you can use to like understand the metrics in more detail. Is there any question? All right, so that's a quick overview of the dashboard because yeah, so that's a quick overview. You can like there are a lot more features which are like from the meta page of the dashboard. Like I think we can share the link later. The documentation, there are a lot more features that you can use the dashboard for. So one thing to remember is all the programs you create a program on the dashboard, it's public. Like anyone with a link, even though I may not be able to join the program, I can still view the statistics unless you mark it as a private program at the beginning. So that's about the dashboard. So there is a similar tool called Event Metrics. This also has a lot of interest in the like in the registration form. So the major difference between dashboard and Event Metrics is closed. Like only by default, it's a closed program, tool in the sense that only you or the organizers that you are of the program can view the data, the participants, and all that information. So the creation of so I'm on Event Metrics, and both Event Metrics and Programs dashboard use your Wikimedia account. Use your Wikimedia account to log in, and so we'll do a test program here again, and can add one more organizer. So what I've created is a program, and then we create different subprograms of it. Ways to track. Probably all yes. And yeah, it's the same procedure. Select the date and the time zone. That gives you to see. So once you add, like again, once the basic details of the start date, end date, in which we get to track, that is over, you can add a list of participants. I'll just add a few from what we have. Yeah, so we have added the usernames. One more feature of the event metrics is you can add specific categories that you want to track instead of all contributions. For example, if you're running a campaign related to a specific, let's say, writers in India, you might only want to track that specific category on English Wikipedia, not all the contributions that participants do. So in such cases, you can add, you can also do that for commons. You can add the category name, and only contributions within that scope of the category will get tracked. So once you add participants and you add the categories filter, you can, there's a button to calculate the totals, like the metrics at the bottom. And let's see, we should have some numbers. So the metrics given by the dashboard, the program and events dashboard, and event metrics are quite similar. There might be some additional metrics, like there might be some or additional metrics on both, but I think 90% of the metrics that are shown, like edits, words added, all that data, like there is an overlap. It depends on your purpose and like what your event is. For example, if you want to track specific categories, you can do that on event metrics. And if you want more, like if it's an education program or which has more like, yeah, like so if for that dashboard might be a better use case. So yeah, so here we have the, like we have our metrics. So 34 pages created on these 6 wikis that we chose. No, all Wikipedias, and they did files. So here are all the metrics. So unlike the program and events dashboard, you will not be able to check specific, like a specific users or specific articles that have been edited, like to get a more detailed understanding of them. But the overall, like the main aggregate metrics, they're the same. So that's about event metrics. And then we have Glamorous, which is a tool specifically for Wikimedia Commons to track the impact of a campaign. So whenever you have a photo competition, images are uploaded, and one of the goals is that the images uploaded should be used on Wikimedia projects. So this is the Glamorous tool, and you input a category here. Remember to use underscores if there is a space, basically whatever you find on the URL. And when you click run, I've already run this because.
Krishna, just a reminder about the speed so we can get the translation.
Yeah, sorry.
There's also a lot of non-native speakers, so just to make sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, so thank you.
Yeah. So the Glamorous, I'll just start about Glamorous. So the Glamorous tool is specifically used for Wikimedia, the campaigns on Wikimedia Commons, or for example, like if you have if you have Wikilove's Monuments or Wikilove's Africa, when users upload the images, one of the goals is generally to track how many of these images are used on any Wikimedia project. So Glamorous helps us to track this, like the usage of a category. You can also do that by users. For example, you can check how many of your images are currently used on projects. So the Glamorous tool generally takes a little bit of time because it has to check, so I've already put up a event. A category, because Monuments 2019 in India. So it has 600, some 6,000 plus files. So if you go to global file usage, you see that 5% of the files are being used currently, and you'll have a rough breakdown of which wiki and the respective usage count. You can go into more details of which images is being used where. So, for example, this image is being used on all this. Oh, sorry. All right. So you can get the usage, and the daily views tab, it calculates how many views do these images get. So it's still under process because it's still calculating, but you would have the number of views here. Yeah. And what else is there? Yeah, so you can get a permanent link to this query using this. Okay, so there's one important feature is the depth of a category. So generally on Wikipedia, we have on Wikimedia project, we have the categories, and categories have subcategories. So if you also want to track the images in a subcategory, you can increase the depth to 1. So that means that one level of subcategories get tracked. This is the use case of Wikilove's Monuments. Is that Wikilove's Monuments doesn't have any images on its own. So what do we do is, because the campaign is organized at country level, so the subcategories have the images. So if I want to track all Wikilove's Monuments 2019, I would go and increase the depth to 1. And I think there are around 200,000 files. So you can also do it by user, and you can also do that by page file ID. For example, pets can, like if you have a list of pages, you can also try to track the metrics based on that. So that's the overview, that's a very quick overview of all these tools of what they can do. So you can use all these tools in conjunction to each other along with the hashtags tool that we'll present. And yeah, so I'll be sharing the links and we can take any questions.
Thank you. I wanted to hand it over to my colleague, Florencia, if you can help us by bringing some of the questions that were on the chat.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to read the questions. We have three, well, two, and one was to share the links that I think that you already going to do it. So one question says, where can we access the data for multiple events programs? See, there have been some changes on the dashboard.
So to track multiple events in the sense, I didn't get the question. Like, can
Yes, I'm going to.
if,
But it's
Let me
where
explain.
can they find, or maybe if you can explain it ahead.
Okay, so you should like a campaign that has other sub-campaigns. You know, the dashboard can track a bigger program and then it has other smaller programs built on it. Usually,
yeah,
when you use the dashboard, you can access a spreadsheet. You can download a spreadsheet that gives you access to the contributions that have been made. I don't know if it's, hello, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. So you mean like you get the raw form of data, like which you can use later on? Not raw form, but the like a CSV export or something.
My internet went off, sorry. I don't know if you get that. So for that kind of event, where do we download the sheet? Because I'm not seem to know where it is now. If you can demonstrate that.
So for one event, there is an option to, let me share again. So if it's one event, so there is an option to download the stats here. Sorry. Yeah, and you can like it gives a CSV export of all the data or by the specific type of data that you want. I am not very sure if the same thing can be done for campaigns as well.
I just also want to invite anybody else who is familiar with the dashboard. So we have also Sage, which is wonderful that he's participating, and Kira as well from Art and Feminism. So feel free to join in as well.
Yeah. So I'm not very sure if the campaign level data can be downloaded as CSV.
Much of it can. You can, if you go to the page for the campaign itself, and then
we can't hear you very well, Sage. It's very faint.
We have some other questions, maybe while Sage tries to fix the audio. So Krishna,
sure.
there is another question that says, why is it that individuals cannot add themselves to the participant list on the dashboard?
So that's, okay, so if there is a program, there is a risk that, there is always a risk of vandalism, and if a bunch of users try to join a campaign, and the metrics can get distorted very badly. So if it is like it's a public event, and if users who are non-participants, if they try to join the program, if it's open, it can distort the metrics. It's generally not a huge problem, and if it's a huge event and you really want to control who is attending, then you can set a passcode. Otherwise, it's like you can just have the join link without any password, and you can join the program.
Great, thanks. And we have another one that says, just a minute, kindly explain the depth of the category again. There was a question with that.
Okay, I'll just show an example. Okay, so here is a category which is in user section using vector graphics. So this, for example, if I want to track the usage of this category itself doesn't have any images, so I'll get a 0 result. Like, so we need to go, because the way the category is organized is that like it has subcategories. So if you want to go one level into subcategories, you use step level 1. And if you want to go, for example, biology, we have biology images. And there are more some images here, but if you want to go further down, like if more subcategories you want them to be tracked, you can increase the depth level to 2. So from this category that you give, if you like, how many levels deep do you want to go down? I think that's the depth level. Is there another question? Okay, I think it's essentially you can download the aggregated data. Overview. Oh, okay. So there's a download stats button. Yeah, it's the same way you get all the data different views.
Great. We have another question from Bukola. It says, how does one retrieve specific data for list of articles created or edited by an editor during a campaign, even when they are also participating in other campaigns? The question is in the chat if you want to read it.
Yeah, how does specific list of talent into your campaign and they're also participating in other campaigns? Okay, so that's interesting. So there are a couple of ways to do this. One, I mean, with the tools that we have explored, you could use the categories filter on the event metrics. So if you put in, let's say if you have event about writers or let's say artists or someone, like most Wikipedias have those categories, so you can sort of try to put that category, and only those categories edits can be those categories will only be tracked. And there's another way is, before you organize the event, there's a tool called PetScan. I can share the link. So PetScan is not exactly a metrics tool, but it is used for organizing as well. So PetScan has more filters and combinations of filters that you can use, and like union intersection of categories. And through this, what you can do is you can generate a list of art, let's use one. Oh, this doesn't have any images, sorry. And well, I'm not very sure why the results are 0, but through this tool, it has documentation. I'll send the documentation. You can generally create a list of articles, and that list in the output yeah, so you have this page file. So we on the tool, we saw this field called page file ID. So you can use this page file ID to then track the edits to those pages only. So there's no a standard way that you could also use if you know query, if you know SQL, then you can use the query to track specific articles and users. So that's also a way, but that requires SQL for that. But yeah, these are the two ways that you can sort of restrict the tracking to a category or a list of pages.
Thank you, Krishna. We have the last question that is from Kemi that says, what is the difference between event metric and dashboard?
Oh, that's a tough question. So there's a lot of overlap between event metrics and the dashboard. So most of the common metrics that you see, pages created, improved, edit, uploaded, you get both. Like these are the same. But the major difference is dashboard is more open, like anyone can access the metrics and see the participants and articles that are being edited. For example, if you want to share a link to someone to show your report, so you can share the dashboard link. But with event metrics, it's more closed, and maybe if it's a private event or you don't want to widely publish before reviewing the metrics, then you might want to use event metrics. Event metrics also has this category filter where you can track specific categories.
Great, thanks, Krishna. There are some other questions, but we will leave them to the other next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Florencia. Okay, so now we have Olushola. Happy to have you here, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Jessica and the team. I'm so excited to be here, and I will be talking around hashtag tool. So I'm not quite sure the level of experience or the knowledge of the people that are joining here. I'm sure there might be some newbies, and I'm also sure there might be some experienced person here. So I plan to divide this session into two. I'm going to share a slide, a presentation, to show how the tool was used using the WPW campaign. And I'm also going to demonstrate the practical session showcasing how you can make use of the tool. Let me try to share my screen if that's going to be possible. Sorry, kindly confirm if I am audible enough.
We are hearing you well. Can you share your screen? Because I think that you don't have the permission. Maybe Jessica, you can.
Okay, can you see my screen?
We are not seeing the screen well.
Okay. I'm sure that might be internet.
Maybe Florencia, you can share on behalf of Olushola, then you can present from distance.
Yes, just a minute. I think I have the presentation here.
Can you share the presentation from your side? Is it possible?
Can you see it now?
Yes,
Great.
I can see the screen here.
Okay, so as Ellie said, I'm going to divide this presentation into two segments. I'm going to walk you through the presentation. I'm also going to go live, so we all can have a feel. Okay, so we all can have a feel of how it is set out and how it can be practicalized. So can I go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Okay, hashtag is a tool for monitoring and searching the usage of hashtag in Wikimedia edit summary. The tool monitors edits to all Wikimedia projects except Wikidata and allows users to search for them. Just like any other metrics tool. Hashtag also does the same, and it is very simple. All you need to do is for you to set up your hashtag. It must be customized to your campaign. In this training, I'm going to show us using the case study of WPWP, how you can set up your hashtag to achieve your objective. And once that is done, the next thing you need to do is how can I apply the hashtag customized for a campaign to track edits. Next slide, please. Next slide. So the hashtag tool can track the following task. One, it can be used to track the list and total number of articles improved with photos, audios, and videos. Kindly note that I am using a case study of WWP. Depending on what you want to track on your campaign, this tool can do so. For example, like the Wikiloves Monument basically tracks photos and also the other Wikiloves projects. So it can help you to track where the article, where the content was used. And the next thing on the items that it can track the username and the total number of participants from your community. So if it is well configured to do this, so you really need to configure it. So I'm going to show us how to do some of those, how we have executed these things on WWP. So if you configure it to track username and the number of participants from each community. For example, in the case of WWP, we have the international community and we have different countries, different communities doing same, localizing the same campaign. So we deem it fit to have the global, the total number of content gathered or number of photos used within the period. I also want to look at how are each of the sub-countries performing. So it's also important for us to have an hashtag per country showcasing what they are doing. And each country, that is each campaign per country, can also check how many people have done what, who is leading, ranking of each of the person contributing. So the third one is, it can also be used to rank user in each community. So this will help in giving prices. So with the hashtag, it's going to help you to know who is actually leading per contribution. So it can also help to list the total number of language Wikipedia improved with photos. I'm going to show us a statistics using this hashtag, how contributions were done per Wikipedia project. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide.
Sorry,
That's
just a
too
moment.
fast.
Sorry, one moment. I have the Zoom, so I can use this one. Sorry. Just a moment, sorry.
So this stage, I'm going to show us theoretically, I'm going to show you theoretically how you can go about using an hashtag for a campaign. So the first thing you need to do is to decide what type of hashtag you want to use. For the WPWP campaign, Wikipedia pages wanting photos. We decided to use hashtag WPWP. hashtag WPWP. That symbolizes the hashtag that is used by the international campaign team. So each of the community also need to set up, if they want to track, they want to know how each of their users are faring and who is doing what, who is leading, and which of the languages they are contributing to. They also need to set up their own hashtag. For example, I use an example for Canadian, Wikimedia Canada. So instead of using the WWPWP, we added CA to the front of their own hashtag. So these are unique hashtags that each of the campaign team, the international and the local community, have to pre-decided on what they want to do. So how can we make use of this? Once you have configured that and you have set it up on the hashtag platform, the next thing is, how do I use it? I try to also show us on the slide where it is used. Hashtag tool is so simple. How do I mean? Once the hashtag is already configured and you know the hashtag that you are using for your community or for the international community, all you need to do, once you have completed your edit, at the point where you need to publish the change that you made, you had the hashtag that you have customized. Please kindly note that I'm using an example of WWP. You can decide on the type of hashtag for your own program, for your own campaign. So whatever hashtag that you have designed and that you have configured is what you're going to put in the edit summary. So what is placed in the edit summary, kindly note that using an hashtag is not enough to describe what you have done. Kindly ensure that you also describe what you have done, then perhaps at the end, add your hashtag. For example, in the image that I displayed, you could see that I added the image of of something in the article. Then at the end, you could see hashtag WPWP, hashtag WPWPNG. WPWPNG means WPWP Nigeria. WPWP without any nomenclature means just the WP International. So that is how to track. So this will track for the international community. This also track for Nigerian community. So what this also implies is this user, whatever he or she has done, can be tracked by the international community, can also be tracked by the local community. If the person has only used WPWP Nigeria, his or her edit can only be tracked by the Nigerian community. So such a person might not be opportune to have any gift or to be ranked in the international community. So when you are setting up your hashtag for your campaign as well, you also need to look at the methodology. What are you tracking? What level are you tracking? So in this case, we are tracking the international and we're also tracking the local. And I think I've mentioned that. We can go to the next page. So the next page now is, once you have added the customized hashtag, organizer needs to decide how they want to pull out their results. Can we have the next slide? That's page 5. So if you are using hashtag, you need to have access to this link. I'm going to share that with us when I start the live editing. So if you have this, all you need to do once you have this link is to key in your own customized hashtag and the system will track it. For example, for every local organizer that intend to track, once they access this link shown display here, for the WWP, the generic hashtag is WWP. The X stand for country. So for example, as in the last example, I said CA for Canada, HEN for Nigeria, RW for Rwanda, Turkey. So if I'm going to pull the report for either Ghana or Nigeria or whatsoever, I will just remove the X in the link and I'm going to put it, then the system will generate it. So that is just a brief of how to go about the use of WPWP, hashtag, using the WP campaign as an example. I'm going to go into the live edit right now. So I'm going to show us display how some of these things are done. Then next you can ask your question. Thank you. So let me try to share my screen, and perhaps I can go to the screen where I can demonstrate the hashtag tool. Hope I'll be successful this time. Is my screen shared?
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm so glad. So basically, if you are here, you need to set up your hashtag. So as earlier mentioned, you must decide how you want to customize your hashtag. No one is going to teach you that. You must make sure that it is unique. You must make sure that it must be simple so that the user will not be bugged, or they might not also misuse it. So in the case of the WPWP, that the Wikipedia photos, pages wanting photos, we decided to use WPWP. So when you come here, let's assume that I want to start a campaign called my name, Shola. So what you need to do once you're on this page, you will put the name of the campaign under the hashtag tab. You don't need to bug yourself about the project. Then you come here to put the date where you want the campaign, the beginning of the campaign and the end of the campaign, the beginning and the end of the campaign. Let's say I'm starting. So sorry. Seems I'm hearing my echo. Okay, so in this case, the campaign I'm about to run is Shola, that's my name. And I'm starting today, which is 13th of May. And it's going to end, say, 20th of May. Now, what you just need to do here is to submit. Unlike the other what's it called? Tool. Once you submit here, you might have to come back probably 2 or 3 days later to be sure if this campaign has been registered. So if you submit it here, because it's a new campaign, it's actually not going to show anything. So once you do that, you've logged in your campaign. So after this is done, because this is a live version, I may not be able to know when this is actually working. So the next thing, let's look at how I can use this. I can use the campaign to use this hashtag to track my metrics. So for example, in the case of the WPWP, I just need to key in the WPWP. I don't need to put any date. And I'll tell the system, I'm also not going to specify any project because I don't know I don't know the number of projects that participants might have engaged in. So I'm just going to put the WPWP and then say submit. So what the system will do is to pull out, look into all the Wikipedia pages to check where people have used this hashtag. Please kindly note that in this case, I did not have hashtag. I only had WPWP. Because this is already set up, the system will pull all the Wikipedia pages where this WPWP has been used. So when you look at it, there's a summary of what has happened between March 27 to May 12. That was yesterday. It shows that on this project, we have used over 368 photos, videos, and different images on various Wikipedia. And how many pages? Over 347,100 pages has actually been edited. And we have over 1,487 users that have used this hashtag within the mentioned date, a period rather, and over 314 projects has been affected. So this has shown an overview of what the hashtag has been tracked. So you can actually go down again, drill down a bit to show statistics. If you drill down, the system will show you 2 or 3 other more detailed statistics. Let's try to look at them. Because the data is huge, it might take a while. Let's try to, okay, good. So you could see here that, well, though the system is unable to pull all the Wikipedia pages, but I think we have the first 10 most contributed Wikipedia pages, starting from English Wikipedia. You can see from here, English Wikipedia have over 60 contributions, followed by the VO, followed by the TE Wikipedia, followed by the SEP Wikipedia, followed by the MS Wikipedia, and so on and so forth. It shows the top project where the photos and images have been used for this campaign. And you can also look at the top users. So you could also see that we also have I think the first 10 users, top users. You see there's Muhammad Abul Fatul, been able to contribute over 70,000 of content, image, videos, and the like, followed by Taril, and so on and so forth. So this is at the level of the international organizer. So if I want to go to the level of the Nigeria, NG, or probably any other local organizer, for instance, I'm using NG to represent Nigeria. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to change anything. Remember, the reason why you are not trying to restrict the tool is because you want the tool to be free to pull out results from different times, different projects. So I'm spooling again. So then I'm having an overview for the WWP NG representing Nigeria. Between June 16 to 1st of September, I could see that I have over 20,345 revisions, that is contributions. And it's affected 19,889 pages. Then we have 40 users that contributed to this campaign within that period. And we also have 42 projects. So we can also go down to look at the number of projects that were affected by this. So for the English Wikipedia, still take the lead with over 12,000 contents. Users actually contribute over 12,000 content to it, followed by the NI Wikipedia, NL Wikipedia, followed by the WR Wikipedia, the VI Wikipedia, the PT, and the like. So then you can also look at the top users. So these are the list of the top users from Nigeria. And that is how use it as organizer to track. So it's so simple, as I said. Once you have decided the type of hashtag you want to use, and you have access to the link to the Wikimedia hashtag search platform on the Media Wiki, you can do whatever you feel like. Once that has been set up, all you need as a user is for you to just be sure that the specific hashtag, either for your community, if you want your content to be tracked per community, or if you want your content to be tracked probably by international organizer, those two hashtags must be added to the edit button. For example, you all know an edit button, how it works. I'm sorry, an edit summary, how it works. I'm trying to show some of us, perhaps if you have very newbies here, I'm going to log into to Wikipedia, then go to an edit summary of a page. And I'm going to show you how to add the hashtag that I've mentioned. So we all know that there are two modes of editing Wikipedia. You can use the wiki text and you can use the virtual source platform. So if you are using an edit platform, which is the wiki text platform, it's definitely going to ask you, is a virtual platform. So at the point where you are trying to submit your edit, let's assume that I did something. I'm not going to submit anything, but I'm just going to, let's assume that I did this, and I want to, I have effected my edit. Once I effected an edit, in the case of WPWP, it is a photo or video or any 3D or any form of content that you had. But it can actually track even your edits if that's what you're tracking text. So in this case, I'm going to put, I am true with what I intend doing on my my edit page. So all you then need to do is to just add your hashtag here. Remember, you must put the hashtag this. So once that is done, in this case, it is only for Nigeria. So if I wanted to track, oh shit, sorry. I'm not sure if I'm still here. So sorry,
No, you can try to get it back.
Seems I've been logged out. Hello?
Yes, Shora, you can try to get it back because we don't see that again.
I think you've just changed the tab for sharing. If you go back to the tab.
Just 1 minute, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the tab.
It's on your browser.
Trying to go back to the tab. On my browser. Oh, okay. Okay. On my browser. Let me try to relaunch the.
Sure. Can you see there is a tab? I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth from the right, that say editing something. I think that's the tab you want to show us. Do you see the tabs on the top of your screen? Then the fifth one from the right side.
The fifth one from the right side.
Yeah, try that.
Not sure. Okay. No. What's going on?
If you stop sharing and then open it again in your computer.
Okay, let me try to open again. Okay. I'm even trying to maximize this so that I'll be able to see. Okay. Where am I? Oh, okay. I think I can start. Oh.
Sure, if you have lost the Zoom icon, you can go to the taskbar and look for the Zoom
yes,
icon.
I think yeah, just hold on a moment. Hold on
Yeah.
a moment. I think I should be back. 1 minute. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Okay. Seems
Not
like
yet.
I see a screen, but not where you
Can I
were.
stop? Let me stop and reshare.
Yep.
Let me
do
start
that.
to stop and reshare, please. Let me stop. Okay. I'm trying to reshare now. Oh, wow. Okay. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, this is where I am. So
Yep.
remember we said you must have configured your hashtag, whatever you want to do. Now, I have configured my hashtag and I have edited. I have added photos. I've done whatever I intend to do on my edit page. So at the point of publishing or finalizing your content, there's always a point, a dialog box like this called the publish change. Publish changes. So this is where you have to come and add your hashtag. So the hashtag we are using here is this. So at this point, as a contributor, you need to ask yourself, or probably you must have agreed the local contributors, the local organizer and not international must have agreed how they intend to use it, to what they want to track. So in this case, I want to track within the local community. I also want to track with the international community. That is, I want the international community to be able to track my edit. I also want my local community to track my edit. So I've already added for the local community. I'm also going to add for the international community. So by doing this, once this is published, the hashtag tool automatically track whatever I have done here. So this is for virtual platform. So if you are not using virtual and you are using the other platform, which is the wiki text, the wiki source, you also need to know, at least for every one of us that are probably experienced or even newbies, there's always an edit or edit source. This is the wiki text also with edit source platform. So once you click here and you finish whatever you intend doing on your platform, whatever it is, I'm just going to make a very slight edit, which I'm not going to publish so that I don't disrupt the page. Say I just did X, Y, Z. Then I go to publish. So it's going to give us another look, which is different from the one that we have with the virtual platform. So it is still the same thing. It's edit summary. You put your, what's it called? Your hashtag. Ensure that the hashtag is there based on the way it is configured. Then please also note that because you want to track with your hashtag, it does not suffice the description of what you are doing. You must describe, you must tell us what you have done. In this case, let's assume that I added photos. I'm going to say I added an image to this article. So I'm also going to tell us some of the challenges that we have using the hashtag during the campaign. Because a lot of people, for example, there are quite a lot of people that are monitoring different pages on Wiki. So when an editor, after adding photos, whatever they intend doing on the plate, adding it, and they don't explain what they have done, they only added the hashtag. Most reviewers get disturbed and feel distressed about it. And that's one of the challenges that the WWP had as a campaign. People just go there, added an hashtag, not explaining what they've done, and they move away. It is not enough that because we want to track, we must also not disrupt our Wikipedia. So you must explain what you have done and then add your hashtag. So once that is done, the the hashtag would then have content that it can spool. So that is the way we use hashtag. So I'm going to stop here. Perhaps we have questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Olushola. And I'm going to hand it again to Florencia to help us to see if there's any questions.
Thank you, Jessica. We have 3 questions. The first one is the hashtag used only for photo context or even normal events like an editathon? Do you want me to read everyone and then you answer, or how do you prefer?
So if you're speaking, I think your mic is mute.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Florencia, we can hear you, but I was saying Shola, in case he's
okay.
to you, his mic is mute. Hello, Shola, are you there? We are waiting for your response.
I'm here. Sorry, what's the question? Sorry, I'm lost. Sorry.
Yes, the first question is the hashtag used only for photos, for photo context, or for events like editathons?
Yes, the hashtag can be used for editathons. It can show your contributions. But yes, it can be used for editathon. But from my experience, I would prefer the dashboard, the outreach dashboard, the fonting, and the likes for editathon involve text than the hashtag. But you can actually use it for editathon. So all you just need to do, just another one, is to ensure that you have an hashtag that you want to use, add the hashtag to it, the system would show the number of contributions that you have done. And yes.
Great, thank you. We have another question that is, what if it is an independent program? Can I customize a hashtag for my campaign? I think that is when you are not a user group or an affiliate, if you are an independent program.
Yes, anyone can customize hashtag for whatever they want to do. Yes, it doesn't matter whether you belong to an affiliate or you are not. Just like the WWP. WPWP is it was organized on 2 different strata. We have the international organizer, which does not belong to any affiliate. It could be anybody. Then we have the different affiliates. So you can as well start your campaign. It might not even be, you can even use your hashtag to test a set of data to be sure that it's working fine. You don't need to be a member of any organization for you to use an hashtag. I don't know if that answered your question.
Great, thank you. And then I think Musa wants to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, good day to you all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yeah, I had this experience while organizing a campaign. It is Wiki at 20. It's not really a campaign, it's an ideathon, I think, a workshop on ideathon. So when we try to generate the data, the contribution of the participant, we use a particular hashtag. We use our customized hashtag. So while using the hashtag, it's like a hashtag wiki at 20. That's the hashtag we used. So the challenges we have using the hashtag is most of the time the tool doesn't read. When you use a customized hashtag, the tool doesn't normally use a special character. Like, for instance, in our own case, that at that comes in between the hashtag wiki at 20, that art that comes in the customized hashtag refuses to allow the tool to work effectively, because we're having this problem when we are reporting the program, when we are reporting the project. We wanted to like gather all the contribution of the participants so that we can be able to know the exact contribution of the participant, and we couldn't get any data that like there is no any information, there is no any data, there is no any statistics on that. And that's because we didn't know then at that particular time, we didn't know. So it's because of the help of Chris Schilling. It's one Wikimedia stuff like this. We contacted him on that particular issue. We happened to have a meeting with him, so we talked to him on that particular issue, and he said he would look on it. After some few days, he get back to us and he told us that it is because of the use of that particular that special character. That character like adds like hyphen, all these special characters. So when using the hashtag, we should be careful on using the special characters, because sometimes the tool might not be able to read the character, the special character. So when you include in your customized hashtag, when you include the customized when you include special character, the tool might not be able to read to gather your data. So that's the experience we had. So we couldn't been able to gather all the data on that particular project because of the existence of that particular character in the hashtag, in the customer hashtag. So that's how we happens to get an experience that when using a customer hashtag, you shouldn't use special characters, because sometimes the tool might not be able to read those customized those special characters. I mean, thank you. That's the contribution. That's the experience we had.
Yeah, thank you very much for that contribution. So I think one of the very few ways of mitigating things of this nature is as an organizer, you must have decided on the nomenclature of your hashtag and test it even before the campaign to be sure that it works and it can just pull out report before you can then announce to the user, so that it won't be that it is at the end when you want to pull report that you begin to now see errors or issues. If you have tested it at the beginning, you will have known that this is not working and what can you do to solve it. So on a nutshell, it's important as an organizer to test run whatever customized hashtag you want to use for your campaign before you launch the campaign, so everyone will be addressed and be comfortable that this is not going to be a problem. One of the major problems that organizers do have with hashtag is at times you will just find that the site is down. Oftentimes that just went up. But that doesn't mean that it won't be reading behind. So when we are doing this project, at times when we want to measure the statistics, we just see that the database is not running. So we get panic. But at the end, we get to understand, even when it is down, the system have a way of probably setting signals to read the backlogs. So I think that is one of the things that you have to look out for when you want to use an hashtag as a tool.
Thank you very much, Olushola, for all your answers. And now I'll pass it again to Jessica to continue.
Okay, great. Thank you, Olushola. And so now this is the space, we have half an hour left where we just want people to share some of their experiences, and I'd love to bring in Sage as well, who's been in that chat also contributing, and any questions that you still may have. And we would like you to either share them in the chat or open up your mic. We also have a Jamboard link for those of you who want to write the questions on the Jamboard, and we'll be reading them there as well. So if Florencia, you can share the Jamboard link, that would be great. So we'll just give you a minute to think about some of the questions you may have. So we have some thinking time. and for our sharers to maybe look at the Jamboard at some of the outstanding questions that haven't been answered. And we'll just return in one more minute. If you can't access the Jamboard, you can use the chat, or you can also raise your hand and we will give you the chance to speak. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Anthony and Florencia so they can help us with this section. And Anthony, if you want to get us started with something that you wanted to share, that's great.
Yes, Jessica, thank you. And it's just something very short, but I think it can be helpful to most of the people here. So let me try to share my screen so that we can be on the same page. Well, Jessica, you can confirm if you see my screen?
Yes, we're seeing a text document.
All right, sorry, I hope it's small, but it can be visible. So I just wanted to summarize a little bit of limitations about this tool. First of all, thank you, Mr. Shola, for a wonderful presentation. That was amazing, and I call Shola the legend in our movement. All right, so I'm bringing this because as you as an organizer or a participant, you should be aware of the limitations that this tool comes with. This is not the official statement by the foundation or something. It's based on my experience as an organizer of maybe, let's say, the same WPWP. We did once in Tanzania in 2021, 2022. All right, so the first thing you have to know is that this tool, the hashtag tool, will only work if you remember to put the hash and its respective tag on the edit summary. Otherwise, there is no way. If you publish and you forgot to do this, I think there is no way you can come back and say, oh, you know, I just modified this photo, I put the photo, but I forgot to put the hashtag. There is no way you can come back and say, okay, edit and put the hashtag. That will be the disadvantage. That's one. Two, someone can have a higher contribution statistics tracked by this tool, the hashtag tool, but they can be relatively meaningless. And this happened when we were doing WPWP for the first time. I think, Shora, you can prove this. Some of the administrators was lamenting like, okay, we are seeing some disruption and so on and so on. So what I'm saying here, if you are a judge and you are organizing this whatever campaign and you are using the hashtag tools, you should be not fooled by the number of statistics, because you have to again prove to see whether the contributions that the person has done is really meaningful or not. Because someone can still can maybe distract some articles, but because this won't be able to
We are losing you, Anthony. I can't hear you well.
To tell like, okay, this is a meaningful contribution. This is. Hello, Jessica.
Yes, we're losing you a little bit. If you just want to repeat the last part you were saying.
All right. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, so number 2, I was saying someone can have a higher contribution in statistics tracked by this hashtag tool, but still it can be relatively meaningless. So you have to be careful in case you are a judge or you are an organizer in case of giving the prizes or whatever. Don't just go and look, okay, this is the person with the highest number of contributions. No, you should also prove what kind of contribution did the person did. Number 3, no way of getting back to add the hashtag if you forget during publishing the changes. So you should be very careful. And if you are an organizer, you should be reminding the people as possible to include the hashtag while they are publishing the changes and putting the hashtag on the edit summary. And as Shola said, please also explain. For example, you have added a photo. Say, I have added a photo, then later include the hashtags. There is this confusion between administrators like, okay, somebody does some changes and doesn't say what did he do. He just put WP WP. That's not alone meaningful. You should be saying what exactly have you done, then later include the hashtags that, okay, I did this as part of this campaign, which is maybe WP or something else, whatever campaign you're organizing. Number 5, it can happen you forget to include the hashtag. So this is the open question, maybe to Shola or whoever have ever organized using hashtags. People tend to forget, even myself. Sometimes, oh, I just published without a hashtag. Then what then? Shola, what can you advise? Do you think we should be also using dashboard as a backup? This is the open question, maybe. Then the last thing I wanted to share is that, is hashtag a case sensitive? Because sometimes we implemented like, okay, if you're a participant from Tanzania, say WPTZ, then some guys come and they write WPTZ or WP, then TZ. So Shola, maybe later you can explain to us, will it work the same or we should be minding the case issues, case sensitive or not? So I was just opening up the discussion in case someone was trying to add up something. Then I'll be passing back to Jessica. Welcome.
Shola, did you want to comment something on Anthony's question?
Hello, Shola, are you there?
Hello. Hello. I'm here.
Yes, Shola. Okay, I
Hello,
hope,
I'm here.
okay, I hope now you can hear us. Have you heard what I was just commenting or adding as some kind of limitation that the organizers should be aware?
You are on point. You are on point. Yes, everything you said is on point.
Thank you. Then I think.
Or is there anything you want me to?
Yes.
Is there anything you want me to?
Yes, there are like 2 open questions I wanted you to clarify. Like, okay, is a hashtag issue is it a case sensitive or not? For example, if we wanted to use WPWP with capital TZ, then someone else is using WPWP as a lowercase, then like this different wording, but the same thing. Will it still work, or it's something we should be considering to do exactly?
From experience, you have to adhere to it is case sensitive.
Yeah, so that's very important. So in case you are a participant of a certain campaign and say, okay, I did put my hashtags, but I don't see the contributions on the statistics, then I think you should be trying to remember, did you put the exact hashtag, or you did a little bit alteration of the hashtag? Okay, another question was, there is a scenario where people forget to include the hashtags. Shola, do you think using a dashboard as a backup is a good idea or not? Shola, if you are responding, I think your mic is mute.
Yeah, my response, yeah. It's a very smart idea if you also set up a dashboard as an alternative platform for tracking your data when you are using hashtag. But the challenge is this. It means that it's going to add more task for the organizer. Because first, though for the hashtag, each user will have to add the hashtag by themselves to their edits. But for the outreach dashboard, it means that the organizer needs to be sure that each contributor are onboarded on the outreach dashboard. There is likely to be some gap. There could be some users that may just be from outsiders, that they don't know about the dashboard, and they won't get tracked. So well, if it's not taken, there will still be some data that will be filtered out of the system that you'll not be able to track. While it is good as a backup, it might not really give what you want at the end as an organizer. That's my thought.
All right. Thank you so much, Shola. I think that's so helpful. That's all. I just wanted to open up this discussion and back to Jessica to welcome other participants to say anything they have.
I'm going to bounce it back to Florencia and see if she wants to prompt anybody to share, or if there's any hands up or comments.
Yes, there is no yes, we have Musa again. Musa, if you want to talk, go ahead.
Yeah, what I would like to see here is it's a little bit comment on the first presenter that presented the dashboard tool, the events tool, and the other tool. I just want to say, like, I think the presenter is from, is it India or Pakistan, because of his accent. So most of what we didn't get actually to get most of the things he said because of his accent. I don't know, maybe we are not that familiar with the accent. He's like too fast. It's not like, maybe it's like normal, as in it's his normal accent. So me personally, I happens to miss almost a lot of what he said. But I've been able to grab some other things. That's why I even asked for the links, and I hope this recorded conversation will be uploaded in the meta page so that we can be able to like go and rewatch it again so that we can have like full understanding of the sessions, the presentations. Then that's what I'm hoping.
Thank you, Musa. Yes, everything will be on Meta, so you can see it again. And it's interesting that we can hear a lot of languages and accents, and it's also one of the beautiful things about Let's Connect. So we are all doing a little bit of effort. Me, myself, for example, I speak in Spanish, so it's really nice to hear a lot of people from everywhere, but it's also sometimes difficult, so that is why we tape it and we put it so you can access afterwards and see it again, and we can hear or we couldn't get the first time. But really, thank you for your comment. We pass it to Harriet if you want to say something.
Yes, thank you very much, Florentia. So I want to share an experience and also something that I have identified with the dashboard. And just like Olushala just said, it adds more tasks to the organizer. So for instance, we organized a contest called Wikilabs, Parliament of Ghana Editathon, and that was to add more content on our parliamentarians. And this was a contest that we were to award participants. And we used the outreach dashboard to actually track the contributions of all our participants during the contest. And we noticed that some of our participants were also participating in other contests as well. So the dashboard didn't really reflect the contribution of the user. So adding more tags means the organizer or the jury would have to go through the contributions of the user and then pick out the one that relates to the contest that we were organizing and be able to award the right marks. And I'm happy that there's the option of using the metrics that we can use the category to really track some of these things. And the next thing I want to share is I noticed with the outreach dashboard, I don't know if I can share my screen so that it will be easier for others to see. That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So okay, so this is the outreach dashboard, and I noticed this tab here called training. And when I click on it, I noticed that there were access to other important resources that would be of use to organizers. So for instance, for those who are new to the dashboard, I noticed that there's a tutorial on how to use the dashboard for the first time. And I think that it would be of use to all of us. That was what I just wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you for your shares. And Sage is saying that next week he's hosting a dashboard office hours. So if anyone would like to join, that's also an option. And I think that also Bukola wants to say something. Then go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much for this session. And I want to appreciate the facilitators. My question goes to the first facilitator. Like, he made use of the events metrics, the outreach dashboard, and on the outreach dashboard, there is a new feature on the homepage where you see Wikidata stats, and there are so many numbers. And like you said, once you see statistics and tools, what comes to your mind? It's numbers, and sometimes it might be confusing. So I was thinking the first facilitator would further explain what some of those numbers on that wiki stats represent, so that organizers can have better understanding about some of those metrics. And again, while explaining the events metrics, I asked the question, like, there are sometimes, just like what Harriet noted, there are sometimes when you organize contests using the outreach dashboard, and then these same editors are participating in other campaigns, and getting the exact article that they are working on becomes a problem, except when you click on their username and then you start scrolling through all the articles that they are editing one after the other, which is very stressful. So I was thinking one of the facilitators could provide us with a solution on what we can do to retrieve all the list of articles at once that is related to that particular campaign that one is working on. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Bukola. I don't know if Krishna can answer that question.
I can give it a shot.
Go ahead.
So if you have a campaign or an event and you want to make sure that you are only tracking the articles that you care about, but some of the participants are editing lots of other articles, either because they are participating in another event or because they are just very active editors who are doing other things besides the event. If you're using the dashboard, the best option is to set it up as an article scoped program. If you do this, the dashboard will only track edits to the articles or categories or PET scan queries that you specify. So if you know that you only care about articles about the Parliament of Ghana, you can create a page pile or a PET scan query that covers all of the possible articles that you might care about tracking. And then you add that on the assigned articles section of the dashboard. And then that dashboard will only track edited articles that are within that set of articles. And so that's, at least if you're using the dashboard, that's probably the easiest way to solve that problem. If you are just worried about, if it's a smaller number of exceptions and you want to track most of what everyone is doing, but there are a few cases where you want to say, okay, this particular article is not one that I want to track, then you can go to the articles edited tab of your event. And as an organizer, you'll see a column at the end that says tracked. And so you can untrack individual articles. And if you do that, then edits to those will then be excluded from the statistics as well. So those are the best two options for dealing with that we have right now on the dashboard, at least.
Okay, thank you so much. I think it's very clear now, but I don't really know how to use the PET scan. I don't know if you could run through that. And
I only use it a little bit. Maybe someone else who's familiar with PET scan could demo it. If not, I could give it a try, except that I have another meeting that I have to go to in like 4 minutes. So I don't think I can do that right now.
okay, I don't know if you could maybe share a link to a video on YouTube or something.
I don't know of any demo videos of PET scan, but there might be some out there.
Thanks for that, Bukola. What we can do is we can put together a document of resources, and Sage will help us like pick some of the best ones, and Krishna and the other sharers who have some good guidelines, so tutorials or videos. So that would be great. As I said in the beginning, like this is just an introduction, but it's to generate that kind of curiosity to start discovering more, and we'll probably have more peer learning sessions around this. So we only have three minutes left. I don't know if anybody else, Florencia has asked questions or would like to contribute, even sharing an experience that you might have that is interesting using these tools. I think it's important to also ask the question, not only how to use the tools, but why. Why are we looking at numbers, and what do we do with those numbers and make decisions about the impact of the work that you're doing? So if anybody has any thoughts on how you've used those numbers to make some decisions or change your strategies or show your story, that would be really interesting too. Thanks, Musa, for that. Anybody else before we close? Do we have any outstanding questions, Florencia or Anthony?
No, I think we went for all the questions that were there in the Jamboard.
I think Harriet, you can help us close this session.
Okay, just to answer the question that you just asked about why we use this dashboard or even the metrics. And for me, it's just to give proof of the actual work done. So for instance, during my grant proposal, I state that maybe at the end of this particular project or proposal, we'll be writing or creating about 2,000 articles. And using that outreach dashboard, which states the number of articles actually created, I'll be able to provide proof that this is the number of articles that have been created. And also even for the number of participants that were involved, the outreach dashboard helps me to be able to provide such proof. Yeah, and then I'll be able to use it to correlate other data in the past with regards to some of these project proposals that have been running for some time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harriet, for that. We will be sending a small email for you to give us feedback. It's really important to reflect on what works in these sessions, what we can do better, how we can support you after the sessions. And Let's Connect is an experiment. We're experimenting. And so we're learning together, and you are part of this, building this model. So please take some time to think about some ideas. If you want to also pick a topic and help organize a learning clinic, we really want to encourage that as well. So this is completely peer-to-peer. Anybody can propose a learning clinic. So we're open to build this with you. Thank you so much. And thank you to my co-hosts, Florencia, to Anthony, Krishna, Olushola. If you want to just say a word of goodbye, then that. Oh, and Justice as well, Dora, Anas, our translator. So if anybody, just open your mics so we can close the meeting with a good vibe.
It was wonderful having you all. That was very great. You are warmly welcome again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Hope to see you again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a happy weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.